Jenny Whitener with Bridge Innovate, and it's our pleasure to welcome you today to the Bright Spark Invention Challenge overview. I'm glad to have with me today Martha Thomason, who is a professional educator from Dalton Public Schools. She taught there for many years during her career, all student ages, and even in the gifted program for many years. And it's also a very experienced judge with us. So Martha, welcome. Help the audience get to know you a little bit.
Hi. Again, I'm Martha Thomason. I began teaching regular classroom, and then I moved into working with underachieving kids, and then moved into the gifted program in about 2000. But this is a program or challenge that will work with any kid, any level. As a matter of fact, some of the success we've seen has been the best with kids that either had difficulties presenting or difficulties in confidence, and it just really helps them grow.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing with me your experience as we go through the Bright Spark Invention Challenge for 2025. So, as many of you know, the Bright Spark Invention Challenge is a part of the Bright Spark program overall that was founded in 2013 by me at Bridge Innovate. I was really focused on helping the future generation of design thinkers come to life. They needed opportunities to practice their creative problem-solving skills, empathy skills, prototyping skills, and pitching skills. We see that with our corporate clients on the business sector, and so I wanted to give an opportunity to students to build those skills while they were in school. Bright Spark now in its 13th year is reaching over almost 1,000 students in 7 countries, and we're really happy that you've considered joining the Bright Spark community this year for our 2025 Invention Challenge. It's operating now. It kicked off on October the 3rd, and their submissions will be due on November 7th. There are many areas of skills and capabilities that teachers identify as areas that students build capability in. Martha, you want to talk a little bit about your observations when students went through the Invention Challenge, kind of the areas that you saw them grow?
I think this is one of the most important things to do with kids, because in the regular classroom, there's just not time to do these things a lot. But working on critical thinking, problem solving, confidence, and collaboration. Collaboration is huge because a lot of children need to learn to work together. We all need to learn to work together, but it's critical that children realize the importance of collaboration.
Right, and I know earlier when we've talked, you talked about the importance of even just presentation skills, just
yes,
confidence with, building things, trying new things, and then presenting your ideas.
Exactly. It gives them a confidence that they did not have before.
Yeah, good deal. So this year's 2025 Fall Invention Challenge is focused around this design challenge. How might we design new ways of learning that use technology to help students reach their full potential, build stronger connections, and make a positive difference in the world? There's so much going on right now with technology, especially generative AI, and its influence on learning. We wanted to be first to invite students to begin to imagine how technology can enable students to learn and achieve their very best. But at the same time, the solutions that we're looking for need to build stronger connections between us as humans, whether it's between the student-to-student relationships or the student-to-teacher relationships or the student-to-family relationships. We also want to see those technology solutions end up making a positive difference for the world, enabling the students to learn, be their best, build strong connections, and have a positive impact. So a big challenge, multifaceted in nature, but I know the students can do it. So these are the kinds of things that we're looking for in this year's Invention Challenge. As some of our veteran participants know, Bright Spark uses design thinking. We use a 5-step process that starts with a challenge, and you've just told you the challenge prompt that we've decided on this year. So you have the challenge prompt, but it's broad. And your teams will have to explore that challenge prompt and decide from inspiration they might gather by talking to others, by observing others, by doing research, what are the things that are really impacting a student's ability to be their very best? And how might technology help? And by going through that inspiration and research phase, they're able to just dig in on some specific opportunities that they may want to bring to life through an invention. And that's where they go into that opportunity definition phase and then into brainstorming and ideation to deliver on that opportunity. And then finally, like any good idea, you want to create some experiments, whether that's just a feedback session or maybe a concept review or maybe a small actual prototype test that gives you feedback on your idea so that you can refine it. Martha, anything that you would share here as an educator where you felt like students needed a bit more guidance or areas where, your coaching as an educator helped?
I think the biggest thing is just walking through every step. And the videos are only about 2 minutes each, so it doesn't take a lot of time. But a lot of the kids just have never been exposed to any process like this, and they just want to jump to experiment. They want to have the idea, and they want to experiment. Okay. But if you can back them up and get them to agree on something, then I think one of the most valuable things for the kids was interviewing people once they had an idea and trying to get feedback on that idea. And it can be their peers, it can be their parents, it can be people at church, it doesn't matter. But just kind of getting feedback from someone, just their small group.
Right. So, and we know as designers or inventors that it's really the customer, the users that we're designing for. And sometimes we think we know what the customer needs, but it's really
exactly
interviewing and gathering feedback that we refine our early ideas so there is a better connection with the customers or the users that we're trying to design for.
Definitely. I think one of the biggest challenges we did was redesigning our library. And exactly what you're talking about. We never, ever expected the number one thing that the kids wanted was a quiet room. Because our concepts of the library used to be that it was a quiet place. But now with technology and the way that things have shifted to kind of a media center, not necessarily a library, that was number one on the list for everybody. So if you don't do that interviewing, you don't do that getting the feelings of other people, then you may end up going down a path that nobody wants.
Very good point. Very good point. All right, so we use design thinking, and in the design brief that's on the Bridge Innovate Bright Spark area website, you'll see these 5 steps in order to guide your teams through identifying the problem, brainstorming ideas, selecting your top idea, creating prototypes. You might do multiple prototypes, gather more feedback, and then ultimately the teams will need to submit a 90-second video pitch of their idea. And on the design brief that's on the website, it gives you these bullet points of the things that need to be in your video pitch: your name of the team, the school, the grade level, the problem you set out to solve, and how you went about the design process, and then, of course, the overview of your solution. This year's timeline, we started on October 3rd, announcing the challenge. November 7th, put the date on your calendar at midnight, right at midnight Eastern Time, will be the deadline for all video submissions if you want to be in this year's competition. There will be a public voting phase November 13th through 17th, as we have always had, on the Bridge Innovate website, where people can go in and do likes on those particular videos. And that public voting phase identifies our top finalists. They go on to the formal judging process. So make sure your friends and neighbors all know about the public voting phase and invite them to join in and vote for your submission. We will be announcing on November 20th the virtual awards through a published video that you can share with your students and educators as well, and parents around the winners. So very excited about that. Again, remember who can participate. This goes through all grade levels, starting at fourth grade. And so in the United States, Martha, that is age approximately
8.
So
No, hold on.
I know we have international.
9. I'm sorry, 9.
9 years old. So we have international students from around the world, but that's really about the youngest grade level that we do, all the way up to the final year of what we call high school in the United States, which is 12th grade, which is right under about age 17. And individuals can participate, or you can form a team. We suggest that the teams be no larger than 6, just because it's difficult to get consensus.
Very difficult.
The other thing that's important to know, if you're considering participating in a competition, every student submitting must have a parent, guardian, or teacher be their sponsor and approve their submission. So we're not able to take any submissions unless you have an adult approving your submission and completing the authorization form that allows us to publish your video publicly, right? And so just know that the form that will be published on the Bridge Innovate site under the Bright Spark tab will include all those links, but you will have to note your sponsor, your adult sponsor for your team in order for you to be a valid participant. Again, we have participation from across the world. We're thankful for that. And please do invite anyone. We're open to any students, what we consider grade 4th through 12th, so that's grade age level 9 through about age level 17 to participate. In terms of participating, Martha, why should teachers think about doing this?
It gives the children to connect with an opportunity to connect with the real world.
Mm-hmm.
So much of what they have to do in school is meeting standards, studying standards, learning about history and math and science and everything. But this gives them an opportunity to do what they're going to be doing in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's going to be their jobs. It's critical thinking, inventing, getting along with others. It's all the skills that you need to do when you are a grown-up.
Right. Well, good. And I think, it's a short duration. Hopefully this could be a special project that your students could take on. I know, Martha, you talked about sometimes in your classroom, you would make this a part of your lesson structure so that you would say, okay, it's time now for us to work on our Bright Spark Challenge, right? And it would be like a special project they were doing.
Sometimes it's hard to fit it in. And we would do it at recess, we would do it during lunch, we would do it before school, after school, whenever the groups could get together.
Okay, great.
Some of them met at home, but for the kids that wanted to work at school, we always had an adult with each group ready to work with them if they were working at school, especially.
Good, good. And as just like with anything, we wanted to make sure that that there is a rubric for judging that our judges do use. We recruit a number of different professionals, from educators to inventors to designers to serve as judges. We're in that recruiting process now. But the criteria is laid out on the design brief and here. We're looking for, does the idea really address the challenge that we've presented around using technology to enable students to be their very best and to impact learning, to connect with humans and to make a difference in the world? Is it original? Have they demonstrated that they went through the ideation process and really looked at multiple ideas before they settled on the one that they are going to pitch and prototype? And then, did they get any feedback? Did they run an experiment, do a concept test, ask for some feedback to ensure that their assumptions around their idea were going to be effective with potential users or customers? The awards for the program, we do best overall for each of the student age groups: the elementary school, which are grades 4 and 5, the middle school, grades 6 through 8, and the best overall for high school, grades 9 through 12. So there will be a best overall awarded in each of those areas, and we have other specialty awards: most creative solution overall and best prototype overall. What you'll find in any innovator's toolkit is that if you're not great at prototyping, you're never going to deliver a great, bold invention. So we try to encourage students to really know that. In the public voting phase, where people are going in and liking, in the public voting phase, the inventions that were submitted, we will be doing recognition of a People's Choice Awards for those individuals, those teams. Know that if you're an educator or a parent, homeschool educator or guardian that's educating your student and you're serving as a sponsor, all the teacher leaders receive a Design Thinking Leadership Digital Badge for participating and championing a team with Bright Spark. One thing to note, go back to the awards this year, we are eliminating the $100 gift card. There's a lot of complexity in distributing cash internationally. So this year we will be doing digital certificates and award recognition on our website. So what kind of resources can you look for as an educator to be a part of the Bright Spark Invention Challenge? Martha, anything here that you would highlight?
This is the most important page. Other than walking the kids through the steps, go in and look at the resources, have the kids look at the resources before they try to do their pitch, have them watch other pitches, which are available right there. And then there's also the workshop kit that helps them practice. And I usually do that as a whole class.
Mm-hmm.
We either did a redesigning the backpack or create a gift for a friend, and they had to interview each other and partners, but practicing it as a whole group first is probably one of the most valuable things.
Great. And those other example submissions from previous years, they're all on the Bridge Innovate YouTube channel under Bright Spark, so you can search those there. And then in terms of these resources and the toolkit that Martha is talking about, all the videos that describe design thinking, they're actually narrated by students. And this downloadable toolkit are all on the Bridge Innovate Bright Spark section of the website under resources. I'm going to see if I can actually go over there and show you what that looks like. So if you're in this part of the Bright Spark, you go into Bridge Innovate, you look up here under Bright Spark under resources, and there is a free design thinking workshop toolkit and videos right here on the website. So you can see it's just a downloadable toolkit that helps you take students through a kind of a practice challenge, if you will. So we've covered a lot of territory today in our Bright Spark informational session. I hope that you will join us. It's going to be very exciting. The Invention Challenge for 2025 is on now. All submissions are due November 7th, 2025 at midnight Eastern Time. If you'd like to know more, check out our website, bridgeinnovate.com/brightspark, or feel free to email us at hello@bridgeinnovate.com. Martha, any other guiding words of wisdom for educators?
I think the last step in doing the submissions and the videos, it's good if you can pull in somebody from technology in your school system, and kind of help the kids put that together. Some kids have no problem submitting a 90-second video, but some children really, especially the younger ones, have difficulty in condensing that down to where they put the most important information in. So if you have somebody working with them on that aspect, it helps to make a better submission.
That's really an important point. And sometimes what I've seen, if you have a team, I've seen people take a component of each part of the submission requirement. So one person introduces the team and their team name, their idea. One person talks about how they did their research. One person talks about how they went through prototyping, whatever. And then each person has just a speaking part, and they may have some graphics or whatever they show as well.
And they have to practice.
You have to practice. It's not usually the first take that wins.
They time each other, which is great, because so like if you're doing that, if there's 6 people, then everybody gets 15 seconds, and then they sit there and time each other to make sure that it's condensed.
Yes. Well, thank you again for your time today. I know how valuable it is. If you would like to join us, please do. We're very excited about building creative confidence with students around the world. Our world is facing many complex challenges, and we need our future generation leaders to be able to solve them. So join us. We'd love to have you. Thank you, Martha.
Thank you.